Hey everybody, hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. That's my blog. I'm getting ready to do Garden Girl from Lori Holt's Calico Garden, and I'll put a link to a video right up here that goes baby step by baby step and explains exactly what I'm going to be doing. But in a sense, I just outline her Lori Holt's simple shapes with a Crayola marker on printer paper, and then I run them into the ScanNCut to create a digital file and then convert that file into machine applique embroidery using Embrilliance Stitch Artist 2. And this particular block is real big, so it's not going to fit even in the largest hoop of the Brother Luminaire, which is 10 by 16. So this one is, she's over 18 inches tall for this particular block. So she is going to be done in two separate hoopings, and I'm going to break those hoopings down even further into different individual embroidery designs. So what I'm going to do today is work on her face and her hair, and I'll also show a little bit in here about how to do the curve for the flowers. That's one of those why didn't I think of that sooner moments. I know I had done a video before on how to create a curve in Brother Canvas, but I was working on the Bee Vintage block for the cherries and it required curved stems, and I just created a curved design by tracing around the outside of a curved ruler, moving it 1/4 of an inch and creating another line and then closing in the ends, and it's perfect. So simple. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. I have already sewn together the hair and the face material, and this block is large enough to also, I think, be able to get her little bun on here and put that circle. If not, I've got more fabric. It's not that big of a deal. And then I also have the yellow fabric for the hat and the fabric for the hat band. Now the hat band, I'm going to go ahead and create that in Brother Canvas and shape it exactly to the hat so I know it's going to fit perfectly. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I am here at canvasworkspace.brother.com, and let me click on this and give you a picture of what it is we're going to do. Today we're going to put together the hat band, and the face and her little hair bun down here, and then we will do the flower as well. I'll bring that in as well so we can do these together. Now on this particular block, the face and the hair, the hands and the arms, and the shoes and her legs are sewn together prior to actually cutting the fabric. So we're going to have to be sure to place the angle where the angles change on the leg to the shoe and make that particular piece on the cut. I did a test block with it. This is her little shoe, and that works. So the first part of this video is just going to be going over how to do that on the face and the hair. I'm not going to shoot a video on how to do it for the arms and the legs and the feet because the process is exactly the same. The ScanNCut will cut through seamed fabric that has heat and bond light on the back. We have all of the shapes and whatnot, and so we need 063, which is a leaf, and here is that curved stem for the leaf. We need 045 for the flower petals, and then both of these are 01, and that makes her little hair right here, and this is the center of the flower. And here is the hat, and then this piece right up here is the hat band. These pieces she is created separately without using a simple shape, and we are going to make those in the Brother canvas. So these are the two bands right here. I'm not going to make the watering can today, but these are the two bands for the watering can. This is a 1/4 inch and this one is a 1/2 inch. But we will make the band for the hat, and that sits right here is where that fits, and we're going to do it and get the angle exact. All right, so over to Canvas Workspace we go, and I'm going to open my projects. I've put all of the pieces for Garden Girl together except for those 1/4 inch stems. So I'm going to click on Edit This Project. It has a little button there. You can edit or download. And I'm going to drop the size down on the view here so we can see everything we need. All right, I need the flower. This little circle is the center of the flower and her hair. And I need the hat. And I need the headpiece, which is this one right here. Okay, and then we need the little leaves for the flower. I'll need 2 of those. And everything else goes on other parts of the design. So I'm going to highlight all of these, and I'm going to click delete. And then I'm going to bring everything back onto the mat, and I'm going to save it as GG for Garden Girl, and it will be head and flower. And I'm going to come over here to the project tab. I'm going to hit the inbox with a plus sign so it saves to a new design. I'm going to tell it OK. All right, so I think I'm going to change it to a 12 by 12 mat. So I'm going to come up here. Oh, not properties. My apologies. I'm going to click on project and go to 12 by 12. That's good. And then X out of this and make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. So I will just put the head right here, and this is the little bun for her hair as well as the center of the flower. So I'm going to right click and duplicate, and I'm going to put this right here so that it will cut the head and the bun at the same time. And I need 2 leaves, so right click and duplicate, and we'll cut those at the same time. I'm going to put the flower right here, the center of the flower up here. I'm leaving room for the edges of the fabric, and then the hat I can put like right here. I do need to create the hat band, so I'm going to come over here to basic, which is basic shapes, and I'm going to grab this narrow rectangle. It doesn't matter which rectangle. I'm just going to bring it in, and I'm going to go to the properties box and click that, and I'm going to uncheck maintain aspect ratio, and I want this to be 0.25 so that it is a 1/4 inch, and that's good. And I'm going to bring this in. Let me X out of this. I'm going to make it bigger so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to bring this and just drag it into the edge and set it so that the bottom edge of the hat band is right on the top, on the angle where it starts the top of the hat. And I'm just going to bring this in so that it's right even with it, just like that. And now I'm going to double click on the shape itself so I can get the nodes. There we go. And now what I want to do is grab this node and align it perfectly with the edge of the hat, and same for this one. And if you need to reshape anything, you can so that it fits. All right, I want to come up here. I need to, there. See what we've got now? Now let me click on this, and I'm going to go back to 0.25 and hit enter. And that's going to make sure that it is the right size for everything. Now I'm going to move it away and put it up here so it can cut on a separate piece of fabric. There, I think that's going to work out really well. So let me scroll back a little bit. I want to pull in the stem from the cherries block so it can be cut on the curve. So I'm going to hit this back arrow right here. I'm going to go to my projects, And let me find that cherries block. I think it is right here. Yes, this is the one that I made in the cherry. So I'm going to grab all of these and just move them off the mat for right now, and then drag in this stem. And I created this stem by just taking a magic marker and on a piece of printer paper and making a curve, and it's about 5 inches long, and I want to make it 6 inches long like it shows in the pattern for Garden Girl. So, and then I drew a second one 1/4 of an inch away. I actually used a quilting ruler for that had a curve on it, and then I just closed in the ends, and it worked perfect. There we go. So I need to make this, I'm going to maintain aspect ratio, and I want to make this 6.0 and hit enter. There we go. So, and it is still, let me make sure it's 1/4 of an inch. So each one of these blocks is an inch. I'm going to bring this in, and it'll change the curve a little bit, but I think that's okay. All right. And that's fine. I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to edit and flip horizontally. There we go. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. And I want to click on this line down here. This was the bottom of the paper, and get rid of that. So this is a different fabric from everything, the leaves. It's a different fabric. So let me put all of these things back. I think I can get them all on this mat and do this so everything will fit. I'll put these down here, and I'll put this guy up here, and the hat, I'll just rotate it and put the strip for the hat right there in the middle of the, and then of course I will scan in the mat and make sure that everything is going to fit just fine where I can get the fabric to fit. Okay, this is a little close, so I will play with this when it gets onto the mat, but now it's ready to be downloaded. So let me hit download, and I'm going to download to PC so I can create the embroidery design with it, and then I'm going to also download the ScanNCut transfer. Okay, let me hit close. All right, so I'm going to save this again. I'm just going to click overwrite. I went to the project tab and hit the inbox. It doesn't have a plus sign, so it's not going to save as another project. It is going to just overwrite there. That looks good. All right, I'm all done. Okay, I'm here at ScanNCut, and this is the Brother SDX 325 model. I'm using the black blade, and I'm using the low tack mat with my fabric pretty side up, heat and bond light side down, paper off. I've had to move the fabric around a little bit just in order to make sure I can capture everything and it all fit. So I'm just going to touch the screen, and it says the carriage will move to the initial position. Here you've got two buttons. You have pattern and scan. And these are patterns that were in the machine when you bought it, and then this is if you wanted to do an initial scan. Well, I'm after a pattern first. I want to retrieve data from the cloud. So this button right here is retrieve data, and then we have test. Here's a wrench for some settings, and then here we have your on off, home, load, and pause. And I'm going to go ahead and load the mat and get that in there. Okay, so let's get up close to the screen and see exactly what we're going to do here. In order to get patterns that were not in the machine when you bought it, that's these buttons right here, you want to retrieve data. I'm going to hit that. Where do I want to get it from? I could get it from inside the machine if maybe I had put something in there and saved it to the machine, from the cloud, from a USB, or you might be cabled to your computer. I'm going to get it from the cloud, and it's going to pull down the last design that was sent, and there it is right there. Now, because there is a blue arrow right here, that tells me that this is set for a 24-inch mat, and I have a 12-inch mat in the machine, so it won't work. I need to come over here to the wrench for settings, and on cut area I need to change it to 12 by 12. Okay, that looks right. Tell it okay, and tell it okay. Now I want to do a scan, and that's what this blue box with a bar across it is right here. We're going to take a picture of the mat and see exactly where the fabric is. Okay, this is the beauty of the ScanNCut. I can get in here and see everything and make sure it's all going to fit right. So now all I have to do is take my little stylus and move the pieces so that they are going to cut exactly where I want them to. I need to rotate that one. Bring this down. And this is the center of the flower. I'm going to put that down here. I had to move things around just a little bit so that they would fit. All right, this right here, I'm going to go into Edit and Object Edit, and right here, so this is a stretchy arrow to change the size. You don't want to do that. Here is a plus sign for multiples, and there is the box with the rotation, and that's to rotate. So I'm going to hit that, and I want to rotate 90, and now I can put my hat band right here on the fabric where I want it to go. Now let me tell it okay. Now on this one, let me move this out of the way. I do not recommend grouping these before you send them down. So on this one, if you look at the simple shape, the beginning of the hair starts right about here, like right at 2:30. If this was a clock, it's about the 2:30 mark, and it goes diagonally. So I want to rotate this shape. I'm going to hit the rotation button. This is pretty close, so I went 3 taps on the 10-degree mark backwards. That's pretty close. So I want the hair to come to the very base of the neck, right there. That looks pretty good. So if you look at it, if you drew a line top to bottom, okay, then this is the top. This would be 12 o'clock. Here's one. There's about maybe 10 degrees more. Yeah, maybe like that. And I want to make sure that the brown is at the base of her neck, I think. So if this is 12, 1, 2, 30, here's her face. Give her a little bit more face maybe. And then this is going to cut right here, and it will nudge up against right there. So that's gonna work. We are ready to cut. So I'm gonna tell it okay, and okay, and okay, and okay. You have to, we're backing out of these menus, and I'm gonna hit please select and cut, start, and it's going to cut. It's going to take 2 minutes to cut all of that. All right, this looks like it worked out just fine. So I'm going to eject the mat and then back this up just a little bit. And I want to pull up the fabric. Oh, it worked out perfect. Yeah. And I am just going to take these pieces, try not to pull too hard. You don't want to distort them. And I'm just going to put them into a little baggie so that when it comes time to put the whole thing together in the embroidery hoop, I have everything I need all in one place for each piece. I love how this turned out. That is such a great thing. I did use some Scotch tape to hold down the ends of the fabric so that we didn't get any kind of drama with it lifting up at all. All right, let's see how this turned out. Oh, I really like this. Very, very much. Now, this piece here, I've got enough. I think I can probably sew her hands with this piece. So I'm gonna hold on to that. Oh yeah, that's gonna look really good. I think that'll look nice. Okay. Now I need to just put it together into a design to be digitized. I'm going to do the head as one, and I'm going to do the flower as another one. And then those individual designs will be put together in the hoop when it's time to stitch the whole thing down. Okay, I am in Embrilliance, and I'm going to be using Stitch Artist 2. You need Stitch Artist 2, which is a digitizing module, in order to be able to bring in the vector graphic that is the digital file from the ScanNCut and then digitize that. So if you have Stitch Artist 2, you will see this little icon right up here. It looks like a pointer arrow with some stitches. So I'm going to click that, and when I click on that, I get all of these menus. And here is the vector button. So I'm going to click this. Now, if you only have Stitch Artist 1, it'll say image, and this text tool will be right down here. Stitch Artist 2 puts the vector button right there. So we're going to do that, and here is the download. I'm going to tell it open. I want to digitize the flower first. We'll do the easy one first. So I need to get rid of all of the pieces that are not part of the flower. So I'm going to come over here to the Objects panel and click on the plus sign. If you cannot see the Objects and Properties panel, you want to come up here to the View menu and Toolbars and Windows and make sure that these are checked. Okay. Also, up here on the menu, notice the Create button tab. You've got Utility, Create, and View. This Create tab only shows when you have checked the Stitch Artist buttons. So when I click off, watch, I'm going to click it again. Now the Create button is gone. We need the Create button there to be able to do this and make it look just right. So I'm going to come over here to the Objects panel, and I'm going to click on everything that I don't need. So let's see what we've got. That is the center of the flower. I need that. So I'm going to click on the next one, which I know is the head. I'm going to hold down the Control key, and I'm going to click on every piece that I don't need. So there is the flower. Here's a leaf. Let's see, this will be her little bun. There's a leaf. This is the hat band, and there is the stem. So I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard. Now this is an easy one, because we don't have to remove underlying stitches on any of these, I don't think. Let me double check. Let me look back at the picture. Yeah, we do. We've got to remove underlying stitches or hidden stitches behind this stem right here. Okay, so let me go back to Embrilliance, and I'm going to put this down first. I'm going to bring this up. So I'm going to just put this right here. And then I am going to highlight everything else that is not the stem, and I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard. So I just have the stem left. Now I want to come back over here on this Create tab or button. I'm going to click Create, Design, Begin New Design. I'm going to go back to Vector and bring in the entire design again. All right. Now I want to get rid of everything else that I don't need. So I don't need this. I do need that. That is the center of the flower. I don't need the head, the hat. I need the leaf. I don't need her little bun. I do need the leaf. I don't need the brim of her hat, and I don't need the stem again. So I'm going to hit delete. Okay. So this is actually a stitch order. So the stem is going to go down first, and then I want the flower to go down. So I'm going to take the flower and I'm going to move it right here. So in this case, I don't want it to be part of the first design. See, this is a 1 and a 1, 1. This is 2. This is the second design. So on this one now, let's take this one and put it right over here. I need to look at the picture again. It's a little bit higher than the other one. Okay, I can do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to reduce this and bring this in just a little bit, and that's going to help me. That is the beauty of these. Well, I need it over here so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see. There. All right, so let me rotate this, and I'm going to put it right here. And then this other leaf, I'm going to click here and rotate it. And just put that like right there, and let's see what we've got. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This could probably come just a little bit closer like that. Okay, and then we've got this one, and I'm going to put it in the center of the flower. Now I'm going to make sure this is highlighted, and I'm going to hold down the control key, and I'm going to also highlight the flower itself. I'm going to get out of Stitch Artist by clicking on the button, and then I'm going to come right here to this button that's Align and Distribute. So I have those two elements highlighted. I want to align them vertically and align them horizontally. Let me move this so you can see the move, and click Apply. That didn't move very much at all, but we know it's perfect now, and I'm going to tell it close. I'm in Stitch Artist. I need to turn this into an applique design, so I'm going to go Control A to select all, and here is the blanket stitch, and I'm just going to click it. Now it looks like it has underlying stitches, but it is still in the drawing format right now. It's still a vector graphic. It is not yet an embroidery design. If we click on the individual applique piece, here we get the little button. Now notice I haven't saved this yet, okay? You need to get this done before you do any kind of saving. I want the stitch length to be 2.5 and the stitch width to be like 2.5 as well. Let's see how that looks. That's a little short, so let's 3.0. That looks pretty good. I think that's okay. That way we've got a gap in there, and that looks really nice. Everything else, the stitch length looks just fine. So I'm going to come up here now to File, Save as Stitch and Working. Stitch is your embroidery design, and Working is your design file. And I'm going to save it as GG Garden Girl Flower. And it's going to save in mine to PES. You can change in your preferences your preferred format. And if it's not your format right there, you can hit this down arrow and choose the one that you need for your home embroidery machine and click Save. Okay, now I do want to see the embroidery design. Right now we are still in a drawing format. This is our working file. So I'm going to click the New button. And I'm going to come down here to my folder and find it. Let's refresh our folder. There it is right there. I just needed to refresh. Okay, so we have the embroidery working file, Garden Girl Flower, and we have the embroidery file. There it is right there, the PES file. Now, if you cannot see this right here, this type column, you need to come up to view and make sure details is checked, and that will allow you to see it. So I'm going to grab GG Flower. Let me go to my new tab. I've got myself kind of mixed around here. And I'm going to pull in the embroidery design. And there it is. And why did that happen? Well, look what happened. I think I have a stitch order problem. Okay, here's how you fix that. We're going to go back to the embroidery working file. Remember, this is the BE file, and we can tell because it says .fcm right here. And I'm going to come over here and let's see. I want the flower to go down before the center of the flower. So let's just move this last. With it highlighted, I'm going to right click and put move last. Okay, now I'm going to save it again. File, save, stitch and working. Okay, so I'm going to complete this. Now, it just should have updated. Let me go back. I'm just going to update, refresh the folder, and grab the PES file now. Let's see. There we go. That was the problem. That's a stitch order problem. Now, if you would like, you can certainly double click on these and title them so you know what they are. So I would put like double click quickly and just put stem placement or stem position, and then here stem final, just like that. And you can go down and do that. That is very handy when you have a whole bunch of pieces that you need to make sure that you're clicking on the right one and it's embroidering in the right order. All right, so this is going to be saved as the embroidery file just for the flower for Garden Girl. I'm going to Control A to select all, and I'm out of Stitch Artist. I want to center in the hoop. It is centered in the hoop, great, because I am going to print this out. And when I do a printout, let me show you. You go File, Print Preview, and you're going to get a crosshair. Okay, and that crosshair is it'll print out both of them. It will tell you exactly where this needs to go in relation to the rest of the design when we put all of the design and merge everything together. So that's going to be very helpful. I want to show you one last thing for the head on Garden Girl. This is something that will be used on all of those pieces in the quilt that have two different fabrics that are being stitched together. So I'm going to open up a new screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in the head for Garden Girl. And so I just click the Stitch Artist button. I'm going to go to Vector, and here is the FCM file again. I'm going to bring it in and go through here, and I'm going to get rid of everything except the head, but I just want to quickly go over and show you what it is I'm going to do. So I'm going to highlight all of these other things and get rid of them for right now and do this, and let's just bring it into the center of the hoop. This is just an example, okay? So I am going to go ahead and do the applique stitches on it, and that looks fine. Now this needs to be two different colors of thread. There is going to be the darker brown for the hair that is right here, and then there is going to be the lighter color of thread for the face that is on this side. So the way you do that, now that I have done this, I'm going to go ahead and say File, Save, Stitch and Working, and this is going to be head-test, just so I know, and it is saving in the PES file format. I'm going to hit enter. Now I want to open this up and get that head test. Let's see, I'm gonna, we'll just go to the documents and back to downloads. It just refreshes. I'm gonna grab this. You have to do this in the embroidery file. So we did the working file, it's been saved, and now I am in the embroidery file. So in the embroidery file, you can do this in Essentials. This button right here is called a stitch simulator. So I'm going to make sure this is selected, and now I'm going to click this button for the stitch simulator. All right, so let's see where the stitches begin. I'm going to grab this little button, and I can see they start right up here, right at the top of the design. So it's going to go ahead and stitch this out, and I don't care what color that is. Now, right just before it jumps into the next stitch, so these two colors right here match these two colors down here in the properties box on the color tab. So just before it starts, I want to change out this color right here. I'm going to change this color to linen. It doesn't matter what color it is so long as it is different than what the final is going to be. Okay, so this will be the stitching along her head, and right over here I need this to change so that it changes color to her hair. All right, so let's run the stitch simulator again. Here is the placement line. Now we've changed to the linen, and we're going to stitch all the way around until we get to right about here. This is actually under the little bun, so I'm going to go just a little bit into it. I'm going to, right there, I'm going to let go, and I'm going to place a stop. I'm going to put the stop sign right there, and it says, what color do you want to use? And let's go with brown. That's fine. Double click it. There we go. Now we have the placement line. We're going to stop, and it's going to stitch the linen color, and then and when it finishes, it's going to stitch the brown for her hair. So that's how we get multiple color stop changes, multiple color changes inside of a single design. So that's going to be awesome to be able to do that. You're going to do the same thing with the hands and the same thing with the feet. All right, you guys, this has been extensive. It's a little bit advanced, I know, but just run the video, stop it, do it on your screen, run the video, stop it, do it on your screen, and you'll get it. And pretty soon you'll be an expert at this too. All right? All right, you guys, we will talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.